Cool.
Hello, welcome to another episode of Off the Pitch. Probably want to jump straight in and talk about England and the last few games. Bit of a shambles, but in all honesty, before the Euros had even started, our aim was to finish top of that group. We did do that, but the teams that we had, we should have done a lot better. George, you're
I hate that narrative that the aim was to finish top of the group. I mean, that wasn't the aim. That was the bare minimum to finish top of this group. This group was terrible. We literally couldn't have picked almost an easier group if we wanted to. Like, you have to have a half decent team. You'd say what, that's Denmark maybe. Serbia and Slovenia we should be dispatching comfortably. So I mean, I don't really buy into that narrative. I think we haven't spoken since the last game, have we? But last two games have been so disappointing. It's been so negative. No free flowing football. Southgate's tried to tinker by bringing Gallagher in to get control. Any fan that watches the game could tell you Gallagher's not going to be that guy. Like, overall, there's not really much to take from it. I think the only couple of positives you could take is defensively we look solid. And I thought the second half of the game showed a few improvements yesterday. Like, we brought in when we brought in on Mainu, and then we brought on Palmer and Gordon. I did think we looked a little bit better. But other than that, it's
even when Trent came on as right
yeah,
back.
I thought Trent looked good at right back as well. Yeah, I thought he looked good there.
Pierce,
Yeah.
your thoughts?
Yeah, agree with George, really. I'm a little bit sick of. I know everyone's going to pile on, but I'm sick of everyone defending it, going, well, back in 1863, we drew our first three games, and I forget it. I just want one tournament where we come out of the blocks quickly and bury some teams. It's like every team that's below us, we scrape by, or we're better than on paper. We scrape by. Any team as good on paper or better than us, they'll dispatch us. They'll deal with us easily. And looking at who's likely to go through now, I can't see many teams there that I think will beat. I mean, looking more at the game specifically, the last game, I think, I agree. Mainu, I was quite surprised by how much he did seem to impact the game when he came on. As much as I hate to say that.
No surprise. No surprise.
And Palmer did have an impact as well. It's just a shame. I think and again, I hate to say this because of who's on this call, but Rashford, I think, could have definitely helped us out down that side. I just think Southgate got it all wrong. We still look so disjointed. You can't believe that he's been the manager. I know I said it on the last time we spoke, that he's been the manager for 5-6 years now, and we look like headless chickens still. There's no, it's like watching a Ten Hag team. It's just disjointed. It's boring. It's dull. Doesn't look like we've got a game plan. I mean, if you don't know what you're doing after 5 or 6 years, are you ever going to know what you're doing?
No,
that's true.
Fully. Few comments there from Pierce.
If I'm honest, and to use Pierce's line, because of who's here, and that's somebody getting electrocuted. Pierce, I actually agree with you. It was like watching United. It's like, have you guys even been training together? They get the ball and they turn around and they don't know who they're passing to. They need to look, check and those split seconds. A similar record, just for the record, was 1990. I think we beat drew against Ireland and Holland, Netherlands, and beat Egypt. Mark Wright with a header. Just saying.
It's cold all of that, isn't it? It's like, but back 45 years ago, we had a similar stuff. We got to the semis. It's like,
is it also semis? Like, at the end of the day.
I'm just clutching at sports. But what I will say is, it's even during that time, and I know memory changes how you remember things. but this is the least inspiring team in a long time. Like they drain. It feels like
Since
it's draining
Iceland, probably.
draining the joy out of watching them.
And that's what Southgate was. That's sort of his PR is like how how well he's got the group. Like the buzz around the place.
He's got the fans behind the team again, and he started the country again.
That's the only credit in the bank he had.
It's gone now.
And that's a good credit to have, right? You've got the fans on side, but I think it's like Roy Keane said, when you're not playing well, you've got to expect to be criticised. And you know what? Take the criticism together as a team. Okay, they singled out Trent, but take it as a team. All they need to say, it's not Trent failing, it's a team failing. That's your response.
I liked how Gordon actually said we haven't been good enough. He's the first player to say it that we've not been good enough.
I know.
Like nobody else has acknowledged that.
I probably want to come on to that and with Harry Kane's speech about pundits and ex-footballers and knowing better, etc. Your thoughts on that?
I think it's nonsense.
The guy who didn't win a league at Bayern Munich, didn't win a trophy at Bayern Munich when they won the league. It's like, with all due respect, just focus on your football, get the job done. If you want to respond, have a quick
respond on the pitch.
I don't agree with him.
Yeah.
Respond on the pitch. Don't go anonymous for the next game like he did yet again. I think. The pundits are there to say both point of views. They can't just be on your side when you're doing well and then just brush over it when you've been terrible. Like they gave them praise for 30 minutes in the first game because they were good for the first game. But other than that, it's been pretty terrible all the way through.
Or like you said, like boring. Like come out and say, yeah, look, this isn't good. This isn't good enough. And they've all been media trained to death, so it's always really neutral and nice.
I totally agree.
It's not worth watching their interviews because they're just, they've been media trained to death, so they don't really give any sort of insight. They read out from the textbook, and I've got to say this honestly. That's why I keep going.
And I'm gonna throw this out. Have they been the most boringest team in the tournament?
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. The whole group has been terrible. Our group has been awful, hasn't it? I mean, all draws except for one game. It's been a pretty poor group, but
is it least goals scored as well so far? I think.
Yeah, we've got 2 goals, 1 own goal. I mean, I think who else? France actually have scored 2 goals, haven't they? Penalty and an own goal. Yeah. So France have looked pretty shocking as well. They're probably the favourites, right? I mean, they've
had more moments than us. Like I said, they have moments where they break quickly.
They've looked bad from last year. Against Netherlands, they
haven't looked great.
The French will be saying exactly the same things as we've been
compared to England. I think they've looked all right.
I think the French will be saying exactly the same thing as we've been saying. You can't draw it.
I know you guys probably know this, but with the draw, it looks like Spain, Portugal, France and Germany are all on one side, England on the other. And does that make it easier to get to the final? Now, I'm sure it happened. I think it happened in Euro 2020. We didn't do it, but if you want to be number one, you've got to beat the best.
No, I don't buy that rubbish. I don't buy that. You got to beat the best. Liverpool became European champions by beating crap of the crap, and then
and Spurs in the final. That's not the best.
Yeah. No, but like you can you've got to beat the best. It's absolute nonsense. You don't always have to beat the best. You can get through. But the only problem is if it was a France or a Germany or somebody like that, you'd say, oh my God, they're on the good side of the draw. They can do this. It's England, right? Next round, okay, let's say we get Slovakia. I think we'll beat them, right?
Likely to be Netherlands, right?
And then it's Netherlands. Now the thing with Netherlands, they've got Depay up front, and I know the pundits on TV are going on about him, but I can't.
We've got a good record against the Dutch, I think.
We've got Marlon. Who should be in
I don't fear the Dutch. I don't fear the Dutch. I think, ultimately, that's a big positive. We are on the easier side of the draw. We've got no excuses. We should be getting to the final, given the side of the draw we're on.
No, the point I'm making, George, is that even if we're on the easier side of the draw, I can see us losing or struggling
Same.
against one of these teams. And even if we make it through, we'll be so knackered because we struggled against crap. Because the tournament generally is a low standard.
But that's why you want this side of the draw, right? Because if you're on the other side, you've got a tough game first round, you've got a tough game next round. It's tough all the way through. This game, Netherlands game, could be the hardest out of the next few games on paper. So if we were to beat Netherlands, suddenly then the confidence that would give the squad would be absolutely huge. And you can almost see us maybe going on a bit of a roll. But who knows if it will happen? It's just...
It's a bit like Arsenal in the Champions League under Wenger. You're just waiting to go out. You watch it, and you get your hopes up. But
I think it's Arsenal in the Champions League in general, isn't it? Not under Wenger.
That was my Champions League era. I'm not as old as these two. But yeah, that's my experience with Arsenal in the Champions League. But it feels like that. Do you know what I mean? It feels like, all right, fine, we topped our group. All right, fine, in 1938, we had a similar run and we got to the semis. But ultimately...
I did see positives in the second half.
And go out.
Well, I did see some positives in the second half.
But that was only after the changes. That was after Mainoo.
Yeah, but hopefully he's learned.
But will he make wholesale changes from the start in the next game? I doubt it.
I doubt he will as well, but give them a go. What
do you think
he'll say?
If he had a pair of bollocks, if we had Jose in charge, or
I think Mainoo will start, Mainoo will start. I mean, the thing is, that was a no-brainer playing Mainoo or Watt alongside Rice. Everyone said it from the start of the tournament, I think, as well, that one of those two should have a game.
I think I was watching a game yesterday. Was it the Dutch game? And I know they lost, but their manager saw something not working. So he took a guy off after 33 minutes, right? And he just took him off. It wasn't working. The guy was having a mare, Verheim or something like that. I can't remember the guy's name, but he was having a mare. I was watching it. It was actually one of the best games of the tournament so far.
It was a great game, yeah.
I've got another question, yeah. Saka used to play left back. There are people probably
Righty said it.
Right.
Righty.
Yeah. He was left back. Can we play him left back? Pierce, as an Arsenal fan.
Do you know what? I was a little bit offended by all this chat when you boys were saying it, and then Wrighty's coming out and saying it. But actually, the more I think about it, and think back to other managers that I've seen do it, in the Arsenal team as well. I remember, I think most recently, Xhaka was put back at left back for us at one point, and it's not necessarily because he's the best option there, or because he's not good enough in midfield, but it is because he is. You want to crowbar him in the team at the end of the day, and it's the same with Saka. Like, there's no balance to this team at the moment. The left side needs supporting and propping up. We have got talent that can go out on the right, not as talented as Saka, but someone who can do a job. The left side suffering. Well, it just so happens that one of our best players can do a job there, and maybe Saka's the best man for that. And if he can prop up that and give us some balance,
it won't happen. But I agree. I don't hate it. I mean, the first person that suggested it to me was one of my Arsenal mates. He's like, I feel crazy saying this, but why not try Saka at left back? Because you can then bring in, you've got a far more dynamic player on the left who can drive on. You can get Walker to suck in and play that more sort of, not a right centre back, but a right centre back S role to cover. You then have Mainoo and Rice as the two. Foden can tuck in a bit. Saka can bomb on and provide the width on the left. You can now play Cole Palmer on the right. You've still got Jude Bellingham in the middle, and you've got Kane ahead. So ultimately, offensively, you have pretty much all the players up there that you'd want to, and more in the position than that they should be, rather than out.
The only thing I'd say is it's not like we're playing three at the back and they're wing backs. It would be, it would be a conventional left back role, which I don't know.
Slightly more lopsided. I'd say.
You want Saka defending,
but it's like you tuck Walker in.
Talking about left back, no one's mentioned Gomez.
No.
Why?
For a reason.
Why?
Because he offers even less going forwards than Trippier has this whole tournament. At least Trippier can take a set piece. I mean, defensively we're pretty solid, so I don't think that's much of an issue.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Are we going to address the other point that Hey Jude has turned into Where's Jude in the last couple of games.
Hey, George called it. George did say he would be the.
He's burnt out.
of the
He's
tournament,
burnt out.
along
He can't.
with Ronaldo.
I
The
think
man
my issue
started the
is.
tournament with the João Frazee. Never start with the João Frazee. He's burnt out.
I think my issue is he's played false nine for a large part of the season at Real Madrid, and he likes to drop deep and get involved with the play, similar to how Kane does. So Kane likes to drop deep and get involved with the play, and they almost aren't working together because they're trying to do a similar sort of thing with Jude playing slightly deeper. But then I think Jude could also play deeper and drive with the ball and play forward, and then you could have him Foden in the 10, but he won't do that because that's too offensive. But I feel like he's a little bit burnt out. I think he is undoubtedly a good player, right? But he's had a hell of a season. He's been now 3 years straight in the limelight, playing every single game, every single week. For a player of his age, that's a pretty tough thing to do. You look at Phil Foden; he's been eased into it very much at City. Now he's one of the main men, but he hasn't been thrust into the limelight like Jude Bellingham is suddenly, and been asked to be the main man of this England team.
Breaking
All
news.
that said,
Phil Foden's gone back.
You'd start just on Bellingham. But all that said, you'd start him Sunday, 100%.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah.
I wouldn't personally.
But I would. He can. You still hope he can pull something special out. And I think the bigger problem is Kane not being able to play that forward role. He's actually causing problems by dropping deep. If he sticks to his position, it actually stretches the pitch out, makes it bigger. Every time he's making
that's his game, isn't it? That's his game.
Well, he needs to adapt his game. He's old enough.
No, if you're going to play, if you play Kane, you adapt to playing Kane up top, not the other way around. Because he's the best in the world.
And how many trophies has that won any team that's played Kane?
I mean, yeah.
To base it around Kane.
He's playing at Spurs. I mean, it's a silly. Spurs never win anything.
If only he moved to a team that would win endless titles.
Listen,
came up against an undefeated Dortmund, Bayern Leverkusen team.
But what I would say is on Kane, you got to start him. He's one of the best number 9s in the world. Brilliant at what he does. But what's the point? What's the point in bringing Watkins and Tony along if last 10, last 15, last 20, you're not going to give him a run out when Kane's played 80 minutes and not done an awful lot? You know, like I think obviously you're always going to start with Kane. He's the captain, like I say, one of the best number 9s in the world. But roll the dice a little bit. You know, give Tony a run out or Watkins or play him alongside him. I don't know, but at the minute they're just massive, aren't they?
Well, like I said before, Foden. Breaking news: Foden's gone back home.
I saw that. Yeah.
So who do you think will actually? Assuming he would have started anyway.
He'll be back.
He'll be back. Yeah.
Okay.
He'll be back.
If not, who would we have?
Well, we should do our teams for the next. We can predict.
Well, if it might solve a problem, then you can put a proper winger out on the left. You put Gordon out there.
Yeah, go on, George.
I also think. Well, I mean,
what's your prediction?
In terms, I think the defence will stay the same. I don't think it'll change. I'd like to see him go Walker left back or Saka left back with Trent at right back. If Saka plays left back, then Walker right back. Outside of that, I'd play Mainu or Wharton alongside Rice. I don't mind either. I think Wharton's better defensively. And then behind that, I would rest Saka for a game and play Palmer. I would play Foden, Gordon, and then through the middle, Kane would be my team.
Gully?
Keep the back four unless Shaw's miraculously fit, of course. So against a lesser team, I'd play Mainu. Against a better team, I'd play Wharton. And if anything, make the change because they both haven't played a full game, and that's an option to change it. If you're chasing the game or if you're defending a lead, right? It's near the end. That's an easy change to make. Obviously, keep Rice. As much as I'm moaning about Kane keep dropping deep, I agree you got to keep him. And I would put Gordon on left just for the. I mean, I can't. I find it unbelievable that we can't see the lack of balance, right? So I'd go Gordon left, and Saka. Yeah, we're virtually going to stick with the same team, but you've got to give Palmer more than 10, 15. Like you've got to give him a good amount of time. and you've got Bellingham there as well. But if one of the players aren't moving, the good advantage you've got of the the Bellinghams and Saka, and they can interchange a bit, so you can bring Palmer in. If Bellingham's having a bad game, me and Piers said you're going to start with him. But if he's having a bad game, take him off.
He should have come off in the last game.
Yeah, Piers, your team.
The last game was the one made to rest him because we were through.
The team I'd like to start, I know we've done that, our preferred lineups. The team I think he'll start with is probably the same, but with Mainu in. Because I think Mainu had such an impact that it's kind of forced his hand. Because we looked a lot more dynamic. We had a bit more about us, a bit more energy in midfield. I think he'll go with the same team. Because I think Foden's gone home for the birth of his 25th kid or something. He'll be back. He'll be back. I mean, look, if he's not back or he gets back on Saturday and he hasn't had time with the group, then maybe he'll go Gordon and Mainu as the changes.
Yeah.
But I'd like to see him change. But I can't
if he doesn't play Palmer after that little cameo he had, I'd be so disappointed. I really wouldn't be surprised if he does. But
we'll expect another call.
Yeah, but you boys got an angry voice. It was after the second game, wasn't it? When Palmer didn't come on and get a minute. But
it was amazing.
What I love about him is he has a fearlessness that I don't think any of the other players, maybe Mainu to a degree, have. He will come on and he'll put that through ball through. He'll beat that man. He's not worried about losing the ball.
About pressure, doesn't he?
Understandable because he's not been involved in the England setup.
Palmer Mainu, they want to go out there and play football and have fun and enjoy and play to their best, right? Give it their all on the pitch. That's the difference, I think.
Not scared,
yeah. On that note,
the others are scared. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Just a shout out to the Romanians, by the way. My big tip.